one of the startup huddle events that we usually would like to host monthly. It's actually our second event that we've hosted this month. So inshallah, we'll keep on planning such events. To give you a brief about what a startup huddle is, I know most of you have already attended such events, so I'll just give you a brief explanation. So a startup huddle is a supportive, neutral, surrounding culture, welcoming entrepreneurs to be open and honest about their businesses and the challenges they face. So the event allows the presenters to learn from shared experiences and find ways to support one another as a community. This startup huddle is a bit different. We usually, which is in partnership with Matter in Hand, since the presenters are at the early stages of developing their businesses rather than in the startup phase. So we try to change up the concept a bit. And to give you an understanding on the flow of the event, each speaker will be presenting for 6 minutes, followed by a 20-minute Q&A, whereby the mentors, who are our guests, will have a chance to ask questions and give feedback based on their previous experiences. So I'll present to you the speakers. We have Mariam Yasser, who will be presenting her concept of a real market, which is a platform to enable small business owners to manage their businesses and staff. They can have live chats and discount campaigns in addition to issuing coupons and overall card discount. Next, we also have Aya Al-Mahal. Her idea is to create an interactive device which can recognize the faces and body language of audiences and analyze the data. We'll start off with Mariam Yasser, who will be presenting her idea. Sorry, before we start, if just to ensure throughout the presentation, everyone keeps their mic muted and their videos off, just so we can it can be easier for the presenter.
Okay. Hello, hi. Okay, so my idea is as Ceviche said, it's an online system for designed for small businesses who have problems with the technicalities, technical part side of the business. So I'll start with the presentation. Okay, so I'm Mariam Yasser, and this is my idea. And first of all, I have tried many times to start my own business, but it always failed because I didn't have a complete understanding of the technical obstacles, such as marketing and just management of the products and services. So also I had problems with the time management. So this is how, when I was researching for my project, I found that many other small businesses had the same problems. They have too many correspondence in whether it was Instagram or whatever platform they were using. They had problems with their correspondence that had no oh, I haven't shared my screen. Yes, I'm sorry for this. It had many correspondence that didn't go through with doesn't end with sale. Also, they also had a problem with time management, and they weren't always available, so to catch the conversations in time, as well as marketing. They needed to go, and they were a one-person business, so they had to work on all fronts. They didn't have enough knowledge in e-commerce, and they desperately needed sale automation, where just the customer will go and click, and they will go through to the cart and finalize the purchase. Okay, it's not moving. Okay, so I invested my time into learning the technical parts and the difficulties that we all faced, and so a real market was born. I uh, I just took off all the parts that I've added live chats, discounts. They will have they won't have this awkward conversations. Can you discount? Is the last price? Uh, by just giving coupons or just and ending them with an end date. Also, they can monitor what the products are doing better than the others, and how well are they selling throughout the year. So if there is a peak time, they will know about it. If a certain if a certain product flourishes at a certain time, they will know it and they will concentrate on that. So I have built it to um, to make management easier for them. Of course, I have faced many challenges, some of which I had no idea how to build a website, a simple website. I had to learn from scratch how to build a website and develop through making a marketplace. Of course, since I worked alone as well, I had a time management issue. But I have only concentrated on the technical side and learning that, so it's a lot better than managing a business as well as learning the technicalities. Of course, I am a stay-at-home mom, so I had no income to support me, and I relied on friends. I relied on workshops and free courses. Of course, no funds meant I had no team, and I had a bit of a challenge learning since I had to delete the whole website 3 times because I ran into inexplicable errors and I could not come back from. Of course, the budget again. Okay, so my goal is to be an international marketplace for all budding businesses and small companies, and be an online system provider. Of course, I have some of my successes, achievements. I have when I first created the test product and it actually went through to the cart and everything was finalized. I was so happy to finally get the sense that it has finally graduated from an idea to a working website. And hopefully I will launch a soft opening. This is the website. Of course, it's bare because I have no vendors yet. But here in the white space, I should have the best-selling products and the featured products. Also, yes. Also, as you can see here, it's I have ads. It's ads that I control. It's not from Google Ads or something outside the website. This store can be featured here, and best-selling products as well as featured products can be also put here and shown throughout the website. This is how the vendor will see their website, their dashboard. They can control products, orders, coupons, their staff. Each staff member has their own permissions that they can you can have only customer support as a staff member, only as customer support permission. People can some of them can have only discounts and discount campaigns. And also as you can see here, the analysis of everything, an overall view. This is where they sign up. They can go through to the plans and see what plan suits them best. And this is where they log in and register either as a customer or a vendor. And they can go through it easily by just clicking one of these social media sign-ins. Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and Twitter, they all work. So my next steps, I'm doing the soft opening, so boarding, founding vendors for the soft opening. Currently I'm offering only bank transfer and cash on delivery, and I'm looking into online payments, which will begin soon. I would like to develop more features and possible products, like, for example, subscription-based products for the vendors, which they can just have a certain product that renews every month. The customer renew their subscription to each month. It can be a magazine, it can be a gift basket. The sky's the limit. So in the future, I would like to hire a team to move faster in the development and marketing. Right now, I have only one intern. I have met her through startup workshops. Also, I'd like to have an API development expert. I'd like to build my own online payment solution, as well as plugins. Also, I would want to have e-payments, e-wallets, such as Apple Pay and Google Pay. So I'd like to have some pointers on how to build a team on a limited budget and hiring and managing a personal assistant. I'd like to just concentrate on the development and the business development. Also, when is the best time to have? How long can I just go without online payments? And what is the best kind of CR to apply for? Okay, that's me.
Thank you, Mariam. Does anyone have any questions, any support? And I think, Mariam, you can keep the slide, the final slide, just
Okay.
so the mentors can use it as a reference. Does anyone have any feedback?
So yes, may I start?
Yes, you can go ahead.
So Mariam, honestly impressive job starting and building that from scratch and being able to pull up a marketplace like that. I am someone that always prefer building on something that was already built than trying to invent the wheel from the beginning. Although it's an impressive job that what you have done here. But again, yes, online payment is a must. We are in the digital age and requiring and having a marketplace without some kind of online payment is gonna make it doomed to failure. We've seen many platforms that are competing in this area. And honestly, without online payment, I don't believe it will provide for the customer the best experience that he can be able to get. Again, as I said earlier in this comment, that having don't reinvent the wheel. There are some online payment providers that will provide to you every kind of payment that's available, which includes benefit debit cards, credit cards, and whatever wallets that they are supporting. I don't want to mention any names here right now, but there are multiple one of them. Some of them are Bahrain, some of them are worldwide. And by some looking, there are payment gateways that will provide to you online payment without even having to know any technical knowledge into integrating them. They are just plug and play on your website, and you will have the online payment ready for you. Yes, it's a very ambitious thing to have your own payment solution, and I will not ask you to stop going to do that. It's going to save you money since these all online payments are going to take their cut. But again, it's something that you can start with and replace it in later stage.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed, for your feedback. Does anyone else have questions or clarifications? Hello, Abdullah, شلونك؟
Good.
الحمد لله بخير.
May I join?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Mariam.
Alhamdulillah.
I've been through pretty much 95% of what you are going through now. And I see a lot of things that we have done, we have followed, and then turned out to be quite wrong for us to do. So allow me to be a bit negative, but it will help you avoid doing the same mistakes that we've done.
Okay.
Now, just to end with, or to start with the payment gateway thing, it's not something you want to do. Just use whatever provider is there. To get your own payment gateway, there are so many certifications required, license, and so much stuff you don't have time or effort to even think about. Leave that for the future. It's something maybe 10 years later you would look at, not now.
Okay.
It's very crucial to have some kind of online payment. You could use TAP or any of CreditMax payment options that are available. Benefit Pay is a very solid option you could go for. Many of the, you will notice with time that about 30, like in Bahrain, 33% of our sales are paid by cards. About 70% of that is by benefit. We still, the 65% that's being paid by cash, big portion of it is being paid by Benefit Pay. So it's something very important to have. Overall, you are currently building a product itself without solving the problem itself. What happens if you launch this and then, oops, those customers don't need that feature? You just wasted time and money on it. What happens if you launch it and then, oops, that's the wrong place to have an ad in the website? People are not looking to that section, for example. I would recommend you look at the exact problem you want to solve. Who are you exactly solving it for? And start with that. Even if it means launching a one-page website that might be built overnight. Look how do people react with it.
Okay.
What do they care about? And then build on that. Yeah, and what works, we've done that mistake. We built a mobile application that we spent over a year and about 30,000 dinars, and then we threw it in the garbage. We rebuilt it again. And it took us 2 or 3 years to figure out that we should follow what people want, what people care about, not what we see or what we think. Or, instead of building a software and then showing it to people, look at people and what do they want to be available to something that works for them. If you could go back a few slides, I would look at, for example, I'll give you more feedback on that.
Okay, tell me to stop.
For example, now you're building a marketplace website, if I understood properly, for multiple types of providers, right?
Yes.
Why don't you just buy a ready-made template and start with it? And then based on the amount of traffic that you see that comes through the website, okay, we need to edit that, we need to change that, maybe we need to rebuild it from scratch. But at least you have the problem verified and you have customers who are willing to do that instead of investing in the software itself. If you do the other method and just buy something ready-made and try, maybe it won't be perfect, it will have a lot of things that needs to be changed or edited, you would delay them to last. You start with the bare minimum, but it would verify that you do have a business, something that would work. And if it doesn't, you can shut it down quickly and not lose all your time or your money or the resources you have around. Because that's a very frustrating path to go through. It has its own challenges. No no one would be there. It would feel like no one is around to support you, right? You'll feel completely lonely. It will take a long time for things to start to make sense, for people to actually start looking at your product or using it or get convinced or hear about it from someone else. So you want to use all the resources you have at this stage to get in front of customers, not to build something and hide in the background.
Yes.
Okay? So focus on get it out to customers as soon as possible. Couple of people who gave me these advices actually one of them built a company. He only started building the software like about 12 months later, where they were generating $1 million per month of sales. They were running that business on Excel sheets. But then they understood exactly what their customer wanted, how to solve it. And then they built a software that adopted that and had to convert the customers online. And they still had a lot of phone calls going and coming. It took a long time for the website to actually gain traction, because you're changing how people do things. And that's one of the most difficult things to do. Try to avoid that as much as possible. Go with the flow. What do the people do? Then do something that goes aligned with them. It just works the way they think. They don't have to think and find you. You have to be there available as an option, a very natural option to them. Only then, when things start working and start generating revenue and makes sense, you would notice that this section is important, that feature means nothing, and so on. Only then jump to design a specific website to solve that specific problem that has these features that you know you need or don't need, and so on. And I know it sounds very wrong to what you've been hearing, but I've been through this. I've seen it. It took 2-3 years for someone solid to give me that kind of an advice and for me to actually understand it and follow it.
Okay, so
I would help you as much as I can, but that's my point of view on this.
okay, so I should hurry up with the soft opening and get people to board.
As soon as possible. If you have one page, one crucial page that works and does the basic function that you want out for customers, send it out now.
Yeah, the whole website works. The whole
Then
website until the cart, everything works.
Because you would only know if this is something people want is if they see it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Otherwise, you don't know. You're in a dark room and just playing with software.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah, for your feedback. Does anyone else have any comments before we move on to the next speaker?
Can I ask how many companies are we looking at today? How much time do we have for everyone?
We have around 25 minutes for each person.
Okay.
We do have
time. So I didn't see a prototype, actually. I would have loved to see what it would look like, unless I missed it at the beginning. I'm sorry.
No, it's not a problem at all. She can show you through the screenshots.
Yeah, here it is. Can you see it?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to give you just a few little comments. I think it's really brave what you're trying to do, learning something from scratch and starting to learn, something that is out of your territory, and then obviously juggling so many things at the same time to get to where you are. So really well done. That's number one. It's always great to see young entrepreneurs coming in and dealing with this. Sorry, they're working on the house as well. So that's number one. Number two, maybe it looks like a really good platform, and there's always going to be little bits and pieces to learn along the way. Nobody can build a perfect platform, even the LinkedIns, the Microsofts, everybody started from somewhere. So, don't be hard on yourself as well at the same time. I know that I think it was Mohammed, right, who said that, you know, people have done things on Excel sheets before. That's absolutely true. And that is one way to go about it. But an entrepreneur takes risks. And you are taking that risk, and you are going to learn from your journey. More likely the hard way, but you will learn from that journey. So I think that's just the comments that I wanted to give you for now. Maybe we can reconnect after the meeting, and we can have a chat on the side on perhaps things that you can do differently.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank
We'll
you.
definitely be able to give you the connection. We'll be connecting the speakers with whoever has attended today in case they want to reach out to you for any more advice. So thank you, Hannah. Does anyone else have any other comments?
I don't have a question, but Mariam, you asked about the best CR. So Sabah from MICT was on the call, but he had to leave. So feel free to ask me that question and I'll forward it to him.
Yes, the best kind of CR that caters to this type of business. Because when I called them, they said, okay, so do you offer shipping or not? Do you offer this or not? How are you going to? So it was very confusing. At the end, I'm not sure what am I supposed to apply for. I don't want to apply for something, and then a legal issue turns out that I haven't applied for the right one.
Yeah, if you can explain that all in the description and send it to Janelle, she'll be able to forward that to Sabah. We'll be able to give you that.
Yes.
Sabicha, can I give her a summary on that?
Yeah, of course.
There is nothing called the best CR. Locally, you have either an individual establishment or a company, which could be a WLL where you have multiple people, or what do you call it, SPC, single person company. They're identical. The only difference is that you have one person or multiple people owning the company. Then there are other types of companies that you don't even have to worry about. They're not for this stage at all. So you have these three options. You have the Sijilli option also, but it doesn't give you the ability to get visas for foreigner workers, for example. I don't know if Tamkeen supports that. I think Sabicha can confirm or not. But basically, those are the three options. The activity is identical among them. You might need either the e-commerce activity, something like that, or running websites. It's one of these two, unless you have operations on the ground. So you need to look at what do you need exactly. If you're selling food, you might need an activity that does food, for example. Okay. Now, any CR means liabilities. You will have payments to do. And in any of these cases, you will have to have an office, for example. So my recommendation as a startup founder is only to go for a CR when you're ready to operate, not in advance, not 1 year before you are actually ready to operate. Unless you need to apply for Tamkeen support, then it's a mandatory thing to have. WLL or SPC companies come with more protection for you as a founder, but more responsibilities. So one of the things that you will have to do is the annual financial report, for example. It has to be an audited one and you have to submit it. You'll have to do it with one of these financial companies. It will cost you somewhere from 300 dinars all the way to 500, 600 at this stage, no more. But it's something you have to submit. You can't avoid that. In an individual establishment, this is not mandatory. It's not required, right? So this is an advantage for you. However, individual establishment, the full responsibility relies on the person. So if your establishment owes someone 30,000 dinars, you personally are liable to do that payment, not the company. WLL and SPC companies are protected by the cap that you set. So if you say, you start the company, you set a cap of 20,000 dinars, then the company, the maximum liability on the company itself is 20,000 dinars in case it fails or goes to bankruptcy, for example.
Yes.
That liability stays with the company, does not fall on you. So If you owe someone 30,000 dinars and the company goes bankrupt, the company would be liquidated and whatever is left will pay the debts, not you personally. So if you're gonna run into these scenarios, then it's better to use a WLL at this stage. If not, I would recommend to just go with an individual establishment. You can always change it 1, 2, 3 years down the road. But to get exact details and answers, I recommend you talk to MOICT. They would know more details.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah. Your feedback is always helpful. Does anyone else have any comments before we move to the next speaker? Okay, so next up we have Aya Al-Mahal. Maya, if you can just share your screen so that you can present your concept. Can anyone hear her? I'm not able to. Aya,
Sorry,
it's
yeah,
okay.
I didn't
hear
open
her
the
too.
mic. Okay, are you seeing the slides, the presentation, or just the slides?
No, we
We
can
are
the slides, but is there any way you can it
I'm not sure because I'm using my phone because my iPad is a bit, it's,
okay.
I'm not sure how to fix that.
Is it clear for everyone to see through the
just turn it on the side. I think it will make the slides a little bit bigger.
Like this, you mean?
Make it, yeah,
just remove the lock screen?
yeah. Make it horizontal instead of vertical.
The,
Yeah, can you
can
And
I
you need
just
to unlock the screen lock as well.
on what? Is it okay if I present it this way, or is it clear?
Yeah, it's clearer now. Is it fine with everyone?
Because I'm not sure how to fix it.
It's okay, no worries. You can just start.
Okay. First, I want to explain about myself. I'm architect and I have interest in public spaces, and I developed interest in interactive installations. I basically have a studio for artwork, but I'm interested in interactive installations. So it first started with a small LED strip controlled by sensor, like the motion can operate that LED strip and there's a message conveyed. So that made me go to bigger screens, LED screens, and that made me also go and contact the media companies and the municipality and Ministry of Interiors to better understand the screens that are outside. I wanted to put some artwork on the screens. So basically the municipality signs with the media companies a 5-year contract, and usually these signages cost roughly from 600 to 1,500 BD per month, and it's on monthly basis, except for the LED screens because they can change and it's like on rotation basis. So the advertisement change. So that gave me an idea of like, maybe I can create a holistic system that can put all the screens in one system and they can be all accessed from one system. And to make it like interactive, I contacted a few people like in Bahrain. I was studying the AI market in Bahrain, and I know like there's InfinityWare, Fab Lab, Brains, Mohammed Boualai, Artificial Intelligence, and other places, but I cannot detect somebody with emotional AI. My goal was creating an installation that can emotionally read people, their facial features, their body language, and it can make like another task. It can reflect it back. So it's maybe an algorithm or something that's a program. It can be installed into a product, or it's the product itself. So I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way. It's a service, a product, application. I'm not so sure still. I still need to do some studies, but my main problem is like how to translate this idea. Like, it's not like a business, but the idea is to make it like to make things more interactive, like emotional AI, reading the body language, reading anger, sadness, happiness, and reflecting back to the engagers, the people passing by maybe, or it could be like a device. So I'm still not sure like how that could translate into a feasible, like I can see an installation, a specific thing, but how to turn it into a startup or a business, I'm not so sure. So I'm just looking for feedback on my process and what I did, and maybe connect me to the right parties. And I think this is mostly my presentation.
Aya, thank you. Do you mind if I jump in here?
Yeah. No.
Well, it sounds like that you're a little bit not sure about where you're going to go with this. You have an idea of sort of to implement something, بس للحين مو بعرفة وين تروحين، صح ولا لا؟
Yeah.
Have you worked for like a marketing or media agency before?
No.
Okay, so maybe that's your first start, is perhaps to get a little bit of insight working on the ground to see how things are working.
My
because
idea is like,
in terms of what,
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
It's like how I'm saying, it's mainly it's the idea is to create interactive installations, like I said. Yes, how to make it as a startup, I'm not sure.
Okay, hello.
It's an installation.
There's
It's
a company actually there's a company actually that crossed my path pretty recently, and I don't remember what their name is, but I could look in my list and see what it is. But what they're doing is they're putting installations at the back of people's cars, so you have like an LED screen that they provide you as the company itself. And how they make their money is they make it through the advertisements of people who can add, you know, their media through their applications, and then they get paid per minute of advertisement. So as cars sort of move around, and they stop in certain locations, so you could have one in the back of your car, I could have one in the back of my car. They are transparent, for example, so the driver, it doesn't hinder the driver's,
I saw that photo.
being able to see. Yeah, so and then once you stop the car, then the LED starts, and the people who there have companies that pay for the advertisements on these LED screens, and also you're getting paid also as the person who was in that car with the LED screen in the back. So there's other there are so many different ways that you can play this, and huge and innovative space. But you really need to like sit down and have a think and create a prototype and figure out how you're going to deliver that concept. Because I think it's fairly difficult for us to be able to help you with your concept if you don't have your concept in play. So once you figure that out and you can put it into a business plan, and then we'll be able to sort of help you a little bit more. I don't know if my friends and colleagues over here have something more to say.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with Hannah. Honestly, that is your idea is a very great art installation setup or art installation. I would love to see some kind of artwork that will take my emotions and turn it into an interactive screen that I'll be having.
You
The
think
issue
that would work? I mean, do you think there's a demand
as an art installation? All right.
as an art installation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Not
now
as a
I'm looking at it.
business.
Yeah. So in case of monetizing it, first of all, there is one big issue is the privacy. So look, I don't want to any system to go and take advantage of my my emotions, my body language, and whatever you said to make
Yes.
money out of me without my consent.
The
That's
companies are actually using this for marketing purposes already. So I don't know. But
again,
okay.
yeah. No, usually our devices are not taking pictures without our approval. There is disclaimers or kind of visible cameras that you are having. That's one thing. The other thing that I'm looking here at is that algorithms will not be able to analyze passing faces or passing people, except if they could stop or interact directly first with the art, then the analysis is gonna come. So your concept is limited to walking areas inside the malls or some streets next to restaurants and this kind of walking areas that people walk to, which is we have a lot of them currently. It's not like we lack malls here in Bahrain. Not sure if look, it depends. It's not just understanding the person that is interacting with your screen, is how you are going to use that. So if the person that you're having is interacting with your screen is sad, what are you going to do with it? These all concepts needs to be understood and built and realized before proceeding with this kind of business.
Like, let's say the smart homes. The smart homes, they do the commands. They can do what you tell them to do. They can know exactly. But what if they can read your emotion and tell you something based on your emotion? Okay, so you're now saying that you don't want people to get access to what you're feeling, or like your faith. But I don't know. Maybe not in public spaces. Maybe make it a product, if that's the issue. I don't know. I didn't think about it.
Look, exactly. This can work as a product, probably for retail, Chef DJ, Lulu Hypermarket, or these kind of big shops that they're having. I think as a product, it will be able to provide for the shop's visitor some kind of interactivity and probably trying to sell them things based on analysis of their emotions or their body language, or
Right
even
now, like yeah. Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
They're using these for marketing. They do. There is the analyzing thing is there, but not in Bahrain, I think. But it's used for marketing purposes. It's not used for other things. So my main objective is like, what if you add something else and it's just like it tells you back? You're like creating a kind of robot or something. But
So you need to figure out what is that something else.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. The something else is simply just maybe just another code, an extra code. I don't know. I'll still have to sit with the programmers, I think, and understand. But
Like,
the point that you made is about people, like, they wanting their privacies, maybe they don't want to, but like, let's say if you're angry and something just reminds you, like, no, you don't want to do this again, you don't want to get angry, isn't that useful sometimes or not? I don't know. Oh, it doesn't make sense.
could be part of a mirror, as an example.
Yeah, it's like a mirror, but
No,
yeah,
actually,
mirror.
part of a mirror. So the mirror will have a camera. It will analyze you while you are putting your makeup or getting ready for work at the morning. And during that, while you're doing that, it will analyze your mood and your feelings and everything, and it will show you in the mirror itself some kind of feedback.
I would buy
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I would buy that too. I don't know. For
So
me,
technically, it's possible. Look, I used to be a developer myself. So when you said it will be some part of code based on what developer are gonna say, honestly, almost everything can be developed. Like most of the simple ideas can be turned into code. Us as developers, what we struggle the most with is understanding what the other person wants. Because whenever we figure out what he exactly wants, it's easy to write it into code.
if it can detect that you're sad, it can just tell you everything is fine, and that's as simple as that. Yeah, I'm reading the emotions, but to what
That's
level
not
can
good
you
advice
go?
for someone sad. That's not a good advice for someone who's sad.
Well, okay, but I can change that. So after doing surveys
Yeah,
on what makes sad people feel happy, maybe I can know what will make sad people happy,
exactly.
right? If I did a survey on what makes sad people happy, what make happy people happy, what make angry people less angry, I don't know. I can do a studies on emotions, and then I can make it. Yeah, I don't know. I see the YouTube videos. They make it sound it's doable, but I don't know at what level it's doable and how it's doable. Now what I did an installation, like I'm working with my friend. It's an installation that just detects the person, and it's like color detection. It's not emotion detection, it's color detection. But I think what they're doing is they're just reading the facial expression, the movement of the body or something, and then they can. It's available, I think, in AWS.
Yeah, it is available. It is available. You
So
can detect the simple faces of emotions from facial impressions. It's
yeah,
what
but
you are going to action based on that, and what's the product that you are going to put this analysis and reaction into.
yeah, I think that means it needs more study on how to deal with the people's emotions, or I'm not sure. Like that would be the extra part to add.
So just one last thing before I give the chance to anyone else. Don't focus on the technology here. Focus on what you are going to do with the technology. The technology is there. It is available. It can do everything for you. You need to understand what you are going to do with this technology.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. People always neglect the emotion. I'm not saying sometimes one word can change everything. I'm not saying there's a way to the words or whatever. Something might change. So that's what I'm saying. Technology can do anything, but maybe if we add some like emotions, or after analyzing emotional data, we can add the emotional data after studies, and then it will feel like more human. I don't know, like it's kind of something robotic, but I'm still not sure what it is. I've read like some papers, there's some studies done, but and I'm, like I said, I'm doing an installation, but it's on color detection. It has nothing to do with emotions, and it's supposed to be like interacting different people with same colors, like random people in public spaces with same colors. Yeah.
Are you planning to build a business out of this?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay. Hanan asked a very valid question. She asked if you had background in the media or marketing agencies, for example. And I believe that the reason behind that is that for anyone to penetrate a market, if you don't have the experience, the in-house experience, you need to have enough knowledge of that industry pretty well to be able to work around it and find paths into that market. That's one. The second thing, I still cannot get what is the one-line simple description of the problem you are trying to solve. I believe identifying the problem very clearly and who are you solving it to is way more important than all these details at this stage. Because without them, it's like sailing without a compass. You don't know where is the wind taking you and where do you want to head. And you could visit 1,000 islands without finding the answers you're looking for. What is the exact problem you are trying to solve? And who are you solving it to? If you're solving it to the marketing companies so they could use this, it's a completely different approach and product than if you're solving it for the regular person who would buy it himself, for example, or would use it or make money out of it. So what are you exactly trying to solve? Now, in general, all startups, and it's very normal not to know what is the business model at this stage, and no one expects you to know it. Startups are about that, are about finding out what business model works for this business. But some companies like Airbnb, it took them 5 years to figure out the actual business model that worked. So that's very normal. But what's very important is to find the basics of that business or of that idea. If you don't identify the problem exactly, you'll be solving the wrong answer and providing the wrong question and providing the wrong answer.
Like I said, out of all this, like to put your point, I realized I am in this situation. I'm sailing in. That's why I put the company slides. What I noticed, there's no LED. There's only 2 companies that have LED screens. So you are kind of stuck with 1 year, 1 month.
Are a solution for what?
Yes, there's no solution for that. I cannot make the companies use LED screens.
What is the problem? There is no solution.
Like what I'm seeing, like I'm saying, they're using banners. They're using they're not using LED screens. So they have to put a poster for, like you cannot put it on regular basis. Like you cannot rent it for a week. If you have an LED screen, you can rent it for a week. But for the normal ones, it's like a month. So sometimes people don't see the worth of doing this. So if it's maybe on week basis, maybe there will be more.
So are you solving the problem for the person who will rent this space?
No, for the users like me, because it started with me wanting to rent an LED screen.
So for the
so I approached the media company
who want to rent this place. Did you ask them why they're not doing that? Maybe it's not cost efficient.
Because it's expensive. Like this one LED 10 by 5 meter screen, it costs like maybe 20,000 to 50,000 BD. Okay, so they have like.
How does your idea solve that cost efficiency problem?
On like a future perspective, you can use these screens for anything. It's not just advertising. You can, if you connect it in one holistic system, you can control the whole thing. Like the municipality, what I noticed with the municipality, which was resolved, they have, I think, a Lebanese company. They're doing a system where they will have all the companies listed. Right now, I don't think they have the whole media companies in there. But mostly the media companies, they don't rent it. They're just sitting there. Nowadays, especially, it's a lot less because of the pandemic. So they have a system.
But for what is the solution that will make these more easier, more rentable, I would say, or cheaper to rent so that more people could use them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If they had LED, if they changed to LED screens, I think there's nothing else, or they make it for less duration, not like a month, and make it less payment. I think.
But these companies can do that if they install these LED companies. Like you have some malls have started using. I don't know if it's LED or LCD.
It's just two companies, GMI and Foursquare.
No, but some places are buying the screens now themselves, like some malls.
Yeah. They're buying it themselves.
Buying it and
there's suppliers who sell these too.
Exactly. So for the other companies other than GMI, and they're only few. They're not like many companies.
Mm. Yeah, because to start, one is kind of affordable, but buying a whole stock, it needs.
But for them. Let's say you develop these screens or this solution to make this more efficient. What would make them use your solution, not just install their own screens? They already have
what I'm thinking, like instead of it's like Uber, let's say a mixture of Uber and Sadim. So you can rent whatever screen. You just click screen on this road, this one, and you click and you rent it. You put your ad if it's rentable. I just put them like Talabat, and they're all in that system, and they just say I want to put it this way, whatever I want.
In this case, you need to sign up these companies to basically rent you these spaces, and then you need to.
No, they are renting the space. They signed up with the municipality. So the ones on the buildings are for the building, but they signed up with the municipality. I don't have marketing.
But I mean, whoever is renting that to people now, whoever is it a company or a building, they have the agreement with the municipality. Now you have to have an agreement with this person or this company to rent you out that screen, so that you can install your LCD on it, so that you can target business owners who want to run ads on these screens and place ads for the regular audiences.
You think that would work? Yeah. I mean, that's one idea.
I'm not giving you, I'm just trying to understand if this is the case or if it's something else.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a bit similar to Talabat, and you just click and you just order, I want this screen, and it's available.
But it's not similar. Look at Talabat. In Talabat scenario, you're trying to buy a burger.
Okay, it's like Sadim, you just pick this pump and this pump.
For example, it's not huge risk, but if I'm trying to pay for an ad,
I take a percentage from the ad.
It's usually a business owner who would be completely, like his mentality would be completely different than a person using an app to buy. He would think twice, he would check multiple locations, he wants to know, what does this screen show, for whom, what ad is before or after me. I don't want my food app to view with Pampers, for example, for kids. It doesn't make sense to be on the same screen or one after the other. A lot of these marketeers would look into that.
So you're saying, what I asked the municipality, they said as long as they have registration for me, that's fine.
The municipality is not going to pay you a penny. All they care about is that you have the legal setup to do this.
Yeah, I'm just saying the only thing that's stopping me right now is the legal part. But if they are convinced to rent their screens for strangers.
Before the legal part, I would consider the business part. Would it work? Is this a solution people need? There are two types of startups. There is the painkiller and the vitamin style. Vitamins are very nice, but how many people buy them compared to painkillers? Not a fraction. You don't want to build a vitamin business. You want to build a painkiller business. So if I don't see, if I am a business owner, you are the owner of this idea, and if we together cannot set a very clear, specific problem we are solving and how and why and to whom, then there is no business. You need to identify this very clearly. It has to be solid
like
proof.
what I
This is the problem.
Like what
You
I
have
said
to
now.
have one sentence that whoever in the world will ask you, you will have one sentence for the problem and everybody will relate to it. If they don't relate to it, then maybe it does not exist in their world.
Yeah, you're right.
And then
You're
what
right.
is the solution? It doesn't look nice or interesting to me as a business owner, to you as the owner, to other business owners. Then where is the value to it? They have to see the value in a split of a second, immediately. Otherwise, it would take you ages trying to convince them. You don't have that. So,
yeah. Like to put it simple, like
my recommendation is, unless we get to that stage, my recommendation is, unless you get into identifying that exactly what is the exact problem you are solving and to whom, don't start any development, don't start any solutions yet, because you're starting the wrong thing. You don't want to start something and then 2 weeks later, oh, but the problem is that. 2 weeks later, okay, we fixed it. Oh, no, but the person we're solving it to is someone else. No, you need to identify that very clearly, and you need to be honest with yourself and ask people about it. And look at their faces, they would react. No one can hide his reaction to a problem that he actually feels or a solution that he's actually interested in. Only then build a business on it. I mean, the software development, if you're gonna get into these algorithms you guys have been talking to with Ahmed, I think he understands or knows more details about that. But it's gonna be a long process. It's gonna be, all developers can do it, but it will be something you can't just change overnight or just, oh, it didn't work. You will spend a lot of time and money to actually get it to the stage you need it. So before you go ahead with that, identify what is the problem? Who am I solving to? If I'm just putting a scenario here, if the problem is business owners cannot rent these spaces because it's costly and they have to use it for a whole month, then okay, my solution would be I would go and rent out these screens, 2 or 3 or 10 of them from the media companies. I will install my own screens and I will build a website to rent these screens per day for business owners for a smaller, instead of paying 600 for the month, I'll make him pay 40 BD a day. He'll use it for 10 days, or 5 days, that's 200 BD. I made 20% or 40, 50% of that screens rental in less time, and I can rent it for the rest of the month. You still have the risk and the challenge of marketing this solution. It's a very complex scenario you're looking at, because now you have the media companies, you have the business owners, you have your side and your system, and you have the people who will see it. It's a very complex model to actually do. Marketplaces, simple marketplaces like Talabat and ours and many others, which only have 2 sides, are complex enough. So to have 3 or 4 elements in that marketplace, you're only adding up complexity to it. And what is the market size in Bahrain? How much is being spent on these ads? Forget about Talabat and the banks who would go and rent this 15,000 or 12,000 dinars per month boards that are huge. They're not going to come because they have to deal with these companies. They get special rates. You have these companies competing with you. They're never going to give you these screens because they make tons of money out of it. So they're only left with these small screens to build your business on. Are there enough screens of these in the market to? And what is the capital required to install these LCDs over all of them? All of these questions needs to be answered before you decide this is a business that I'm going to build.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Like you said, does it now make sense? Like, let's say there's the screens on the building and there's 2 companies enough. يعني شارع المعارض موجود فيه وفي المنامة فيه وفي يعني there is some numbers. So starting with this, maybe it will make, if there's an application and there's an access, that basically it's trying to make advertising more easier by a click. That's what I'm trying to solve, and it's cheaper for everybody to access, even small businesses. You don't have to be that big.
It might make advertising a bit easier, but it's going to make your business way more complex.
Yeah, okay.
You're going to take all of that complexity, and in many cases, it's going to be a challenge to make it even work. The hard truth is complexity is not something you want in your startup at the early stage. You want to avoid that.
Okay.
Think of this, you're going to explain your problem or your solution to us. It took now, how long it took, we did not get what do you do? We did not relate to it. And that's a problem. It has to be so simple, so clear that any of us who are the correct target audience, by the way, maybe we are not the correct target audience. Your answer or your solution has to appeal to the correct target audience. Forget about those who are not your customers. They might never get it. It doesn't matter. But if your customers does not get the value in your solution, then who's going to pay you for it? I would leave it there, but I hope I made it. This is the couple of things.
I think it's definitely important for you guys to connect. I think you have an understanding on how you can help her out, who inshallah will be able to make the connection in case you need any kind of other feedback. You'd be able to reach out to Abdullah or whoever else that attended today to support you. I think time is up for the Q&As. We usually leave off maybe 5 minutes just to see if anyone has any community announcements, any events, virtual events in this case, that anyone would be doing if you'd like to share. I, for one, would like to share that we are beginning to plan the next Global Entrepreneurship Week, which will happen in November. Inshallah, it will be virtual this year, and just keep an eye out on Tim Keen's website, or we'll be reaching out to you directly in promotion of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. I believe someone previously mentioned about Tim Keen, where also the updated programs will be launching, so keep an eye out on Tim Keen's website and their Instagram for the launch dates or any updates on the services that Tim Keen usually offers. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you mentors for giving your time as always in supporting these aspiring entrepreneurs. Any final questions, feedback before we end the session?
Thank you everyone for attending, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. Wallah ya'tikum al-afiyah. We really appreciate it. Hope as speakers, you also benefited from this session.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
يعطيكم العافية. مع السلامة.
Thank
Allah
you.
يعافيك.
Take care.